Hi, quick video to show the new user entities feature introduced in DaDaBIK 13.4. In case you're here and you don't know DaDaBIK, well, DaDaBIK is a no-code, low-code platform. You can use it to build web applications, typically internal tools or business process management tools such as CRM, small ERPs, inventory apps, and similar software. You build web applications with little or no coding directly using the no-code platform or using an AI agent called AppifyText.ai that builds DaDaBIK applications starting from a prompt. Now, today, DaDaBIK version 13.4 has been released and there is a new feature that I want to discuss here, user entities. I skip the theory and jump to the first example. Here is a school management system created with DaDaBIK. You have students, teachers, classes. Teachers can register grades and attendance. Students can see their grades, their transcripts. So everything you can expect. You know that the application users in DaDaBIK application are stored here, users. Here you can see who can access the application. Each user belongs to a group, even more than one actually, and according to the group you set permissions. And this works well, right? However, you may have in your application other tables that also represent users. For example, here we have a students table and we need a table for students because we want to describe them with some fields, some characteristics related to their domain. But each student is also a user of the application. This may be complex to manage. Why? For two reasons, at least. Because every time you create a student, you have to create the corresponding user and link them through a field, sort of foreign key. If I update the information about a student, I should update the corresponding user as well. The same if I delete a student. If I need to filter rows, for example, to show each, to display to each student only the grades related to them, well, this is easy if I link a grade directly to a user, because I can use a no-code row level filter and select as type of value username user. But here we are not linking a user, we are linking a student. So we would need to code a row level filter, adding some SQL to get the ID student related to the current user and to implement this. So it's complex. But now we have a solution for this. User entities. Basically, a table can now act as an extension of the users table. For example, here we can do it for students and teachers. Let me show the effects of that, and then I show how to set the tables, how to set head table as entity table. But before continuing, let me clarify that students and teachers here are just two examples, right? In a CRM, for example, you may have the sales manager and sales people tables. In a library management system, you may have library members and library staff tables. The use case where you can use this feature are basically countless. Okay, so let's go back to our example and let me show how. Let me show what happens if I create a new teacher. So teachers and create new, first name Bob Smith, email bob@example.com, phone, whatever, address. Okay, save. Okay, the teacher has been created and the corresponding, let me make it bigger. A corresponding user account has been also created with random password. So a corresponding user, we are in the users page now. That's a user having username bob.smith. So the username has been automatically generated, belonging to the teachers group has been created. Okay, we can change the password if we want, and the user is there. Of course, we have several groups in this application: admin, office staff, students, and teachers. Let's go back to the teacher we created, Bob Smith, and let's say that this for this teacher we change the email address. That becomes bob.smith@example.com. Save. Okay, we have a new email address. Users. Bob Smith. As you can see, the email has been automatically updated in the users table as well. Okay. Now, how is this set? So how can you tell DaDaBIK that a table is a user entity table? From the dev area. Okay, from the dev area, in the users tab, now you have a completely new section here: users and groups, user entities. So here, for each table you want to set as entity table, user entity table, you add a line here. For example, here we did it for teachers. Table name teacher, ID user field. The table teacher contains a field ID user that links the corresponding ID user field in the users table. So we set this. Okay, we don't have to handle that. As you saw before, the link is automatically created, but DaDaBIK needs to know which is the field to use. And then if you want, optionally, you can set which are the fields mapping to first name, last name, and email of the user, if you have them, and if you want to map to create a link between these fields in the teachers table and this field in the users table. Finally, you define the group, the related group. The group is the teachers group, and here you enable or disable the synchronization with creation, update, and delete. Okay, and that's it. That's how you set a table as a user entity table. But this is just half of the story. Let's see our classes table. So we have 4 classes. Each class has a teacher. So let's assume that, let's try to log in as a teacher. Now we are logged in as root, so an administrator, and we'll try to log in as a teacher. In particular, we will use the user John Smith. So log out. Maybe I can, let me think about it. No, okay. Log out. John Smith. Okay, classes. And here we go. I see all the classes, right? But the idea would be to filter the rows and show to each teacher only their classes. Okay, how can we do that? Well, until now we had to code in SQL a row level filter to obtain this. Now everything is way easier. Let me show how. Because also the no-code row-level filters, row-level permissions have been improved a lot. So in another browser, I'm accessing the same application as root. So let me move to permissions, classes, teachers. Okay, row level permission for teachers in the table classes. We want that we want to add as rule the fact that the teacher ID for each class must be equal to what? As you can see, we have an additional value here. Current user group were already there before. Starting from version 13.4, you have also all the fields of the user entity tables. So current user teachers ID, meaning that if you are a teacher, you only see the classes having teacher ID equal to your own ID teacher. Okay? Because if you are a teacher, you are a user, but you are also, part of the teacher group, and also you will be represented in the teachers table. So current user teacher ID. These are all fields in the teachers table. Save. And now if I refresh, now I'm in the other browser, logged in as John Smith, I see only my own classes. Okay? So very easy to set up these rules in this new 13.4 version. But there is more, and let me show another example. Again, as teacher, let me show the students. Okay, let me check the status. Status graduated. Okay, we have a status for each student. Let's say that we want to show to the teachers only users, only students having status applicant or graduated. No, active or graduated. Okay, so not all the students. You have a new operator in the permissions row level permissions. Let me show here. So students, teachers. So the status is in. This is the new operator in custom value, and here we can define a set of values. So the options. First one was active. Second one was graduated. Okay. All right. In. So we see 20 students. Let me refresh. Now only 18, because only the students in status active or graduated. Okay, and that's the second improvement. But let me show the last one for most complex cases. In the last example, we log in as student, not as teacher. And as student, I can see classes, teachers, so just a few tables, and let's see classes. I see all the classes, and that's the default behavior, no row level permissions. However, if we move to classes, enrollments, here I'm in the other browser, logged in as root. I can see that John Doe is enrolled only in two classes, history and English, right? This enrollments is a, let's say, bridge table coming from a many-to-many relationship. So we have a student and a student ID and a class ID. Okay, this example is more complex than the previous one, because in the previous one, for each class we have a field, teacher ID, and we could use that field directly in the row level permissions form. Now to actually see which records to show to each student, we have to use an additional table, this enrollments table, and this makes things more complex. But again, using this new operator in together with another new feature that I'm going to show you in a moment, you can do it everything from the dev area without using custom files. So how? Well, let me go back here in the permissions tab. We are talking about classes for the group's students, right? We are setting permissions from the students group, and we want to set row level permissions for the table classes. Now, let's think about the concept, that the row level permission we want to code, we want to represent here. Basically, the ID of the current student must appear in enrollments for a specific class in order to see the class in the list. Okay, that's the general concept, but how can we implement it here? Well, we can say that the ID of the class, we are in classes, so the ID of the class must be in a specific set, right? Now, before we use custom value with a set of options are coded, but you can also define your set using an SQL select query. Okay, let me paste the query I prepared, and then I'll explain how it works. So select the class ID from enrollments. So from the table enrollments, we select the class ID for all the rows where the student ID is equal to the student ID of the current user. Because in addition to all of the new features, new aspects I discussed, there is also this new thing. It's a placeholder that you can use in your select query here that will be replaced by the ID of the current logged in user. So basically with this subquery, we get the student ID of the current user, right? And here we are just saying, well, tell me all the classes to which this student ID is enrolled. So this will end up, being a set of classes. That's why we can use it in together with the in operator. Okay, and save. And let's go back to the other browser. And here we go. I didn't expect. We said English, history. Let me go back here because I remember just two. Oh no, okay, three. That's correct. Okay. And okay, that's it. I think this adds a lot of flexibility to the modeling of users and groups and make complex row level permissions rules way easier to set. So all these new features are included in version 13.4 Enterprise and Platinum released today. As usual, if you have an active monthly subscription or you have a lifetime license and you are in your free upgrade period, you can download the upgrade for free. If you are out of your free upgrade period, you can buy a maintenance license and get the latest version and an additional year of free upgrade and support. All this by visiting the upgrade page, dadabik.com/upgrade. If you want to buy instead a new lifetime license or start a new monthly subscription, dadabik.com/download. Please let me know what you think, and if you have any feedback, leave a comment here. So, see you next time. Ciao!